Hey everyone, it's Natalie from Diaries YouTube talk show. Thank you again for coming back to watching our stories of women, inspiring women one story at a time. Hopefully you viewed some of the stories I brought to you of some of the courageous women who have dug deep inside to come out and talk about their personal stories and their struggle and their triumph. Because in the end, when you win your battle, you are triumphant. And these women are sharing their stories and wanting to inspire and empower you to do the same. So without further ado, I want to welcome my next guest here on High Heel Diaries talk show. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. And you're here to talk to us about something very important. Mm-hmm. And what you're going to talk to us about is what I'm calling your O word. Mm-hmm. So before we go any further, I want to say when I met you, I was drawn to you by your strength. I didn't know you from Adam. We were at an event together.
Yes, we were.
You walked by, and women are very intuitive, mm-hmm. right? And you said hello, and I said hello. You like my hair, I liked your hair.
Right.
And we continued on, but we continued with our conversations and we met, and here we are today. Mm-hmm. We felt comfortable enough, you felt comfortable enough to want to talk, not
yes.
only about this issue, but just about things in general. So
right.
We've had some great conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So first I would like for you to tell the viewers, what is your O word?
Being overweight is my O word.
Okay. So that was your O word.
Oh my, yes, it is, yes.
It was.
Not anymore.
Right.
So,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, so about 6 years ago, I made the decision to change my lifestyle and change the way I look, and I was overweight. I was about close to 300 pounds 6 years ago.
Okay.
And
that was what I didn't know.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it was time.
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago, I made the decision that it was time for me to change.
Tell me about some of the contributors. So you were overweight.
I was overweight.
For how long in your life would you consider overweight?
I was overweight for my entire life, to be honest with you. It's just as I've gotten older, from starting as a young adult, probably around the time where I met my husband or boyfriend at the time, 23, is when the weight just really started creeping up on me. And I think a lot of it was just being comfortable. Mm-hmm. Comfortable with this person. This person was comfortable with me.
That happens a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first couple of years, you try to impress, and then that person likes you, and then
he's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you're not going anywhere.
You're comfortable with each other, and it wasn't just me; it was him too. Mm-hmm. So just being comfortable and not saying that you don't have to impress, but this person's pretty much in your court right now. You mm-hmm. have this person. So you start getting the bad habits, and you start, I guess in the case, not really having to try anymore, because mm-hmm. I don't have to impress this person. Mm-hmm. This person's here for the long haul.
Right. So what were some of your bad habits? Like what were some of the things that you...
One of our worst bad habits was just eating late.
Yeah.
Eating late was the worst one, and big factor is McDonald's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's open 24 hours.
Absolutely.
No excuse.
But
the
funny
food.
thing is
yes.
that, of course, McDonald's, they're great. They're open 24
right.
hours, so that's convenient. Mm-hmm. But with our life, our
mm-hmm.
lifestyle, we work so hard.
That's
we're
right.
forever going. There's children activities.
Exactly.
It's convenient to drive through.
Absolutely. And a lot of the time was just us driving through with our work schedules mm-hmm. or whatever schedules we had. It was pretty much just, well, let's just pick up some McDonald's.
Easy.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we both knew each other's orders. You go, I go, whatever the case may be. So eating late was one of the biggest factors. Mm-hmm. Just being under some stresses at the time when I was dating my boyfriend or mm-hmm. husband right now. He was away. Mm-hmm. He was away at school.
Okay.
So just having to kind of maintain the communication and all that kind of stuff.
Do you think there was some emotional factors there too? Because
absolutely.
Him being away and you
absolutely, and him not being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it was like depression. I
Right.
remember when I was dating my husband,
right.
And he would leave to go away
mm-hmm.
for his job, and I was in such a depression.
Yes.
I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything.
Right.
I didn't want to eat.
Yeah.
And then if I ate, it was like fast food, just
Yes.
everything and anything. It was
Yeah.
from one extreme to the next.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there are times where you're going through things and you want that person there.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going
Yeah,
through
yeah.
a little depression. You're pretty
Yeah.
much just waiting for that person to come back, right?
So food could be comfort too, right? So
Absolutely.
that's probably what it was, yeah.
You know, and just as you mentioned before, just the busy lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know,
No time for exercise.
no time for exercise, no time to put yourself on a set schedule to eat.
Yeah.
You're always for me, always on the go, 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 go. So you're trying to, you don't have time to make those healthy food
Right.
choices.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, or in my case, you're going to go and get those quick fixes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, I know some common contributors, and I think that especially if you're not balancing out those
Yes.
bad habits with anything
Right.
healthy or positive, exercise, or
Right.
some days bad food, other days
Absolutely.
good food, then yes, it's going to creep up on you.
But the
Right.
number one contributor for me making my decision is that I had my son later in life. I'm 43 now. I had him at 35. And that was a personal choice to have him later in life. And at the time...
Metabolism changes.
Exactly. And one of the major contributing factors is that I didn't want to... The fact that I made the choice to be older to have a child, I did not want to take it away from him by not having the ability to be a active parent.
Right.
So he was 2 when I made that decision, and I said that it would be really unfair for me not to be able to put on a bathing suit when he wants to go swimming, or to run after him, or contribute any which way actively
Right.
with him because I'm heavy.
Okay. So we'll get to the topic now of the defining factor that made you choose to do the method that you're going to tell us about to help you to lose the weight. So you went through the being overweight for most of your life. You got
Right.
worse as you were mature, and then you decided when? Your child? Was it when your child?
It was exactly when I had my son,
Yeah.
and as he was just he's our only one, and it was just like, it would really be unfair.
Yeah.
And it's time to make a change.
Right.
I have a little boy, he's active, he's rambunctious, he wants...
Oh, aren't they?
Yes. He's 8 now, so he now has to keep up with me.
Yeah. You see?
Right?
It's changed.
It's changed. So I wanted to make sure as a parent that I was able to be active with him and never say no in terms of, no, mommy can't because mommy's heavy or mommy's going to get tired
So what did
really
you
quickly.
do? So tell us what you did.
So when I decided to, when I made my decision, it was a decision to do gastric bypass. What I did was, my girlfriend, who actually was going through the process, she was the one that told me about it. And what I also discovered was that there were a couple of my family members on my husband's side, they went through it. So they're the ones that actually kind of told me about it.
So what
encouraged me.
What is that? What is gastric bypass?
Gastric bypass is basically taking your stomach and making, basically cutting it and making a pouch, and then bypassing your food intake from your large intestine to your small intestine. So by making a pouch, what it does, it makes you feel full very quickly.
Okay.
The downside of that is that malabsorption. I can't consume a lot of vitamins, unfortunately. So I do.
You can't absorb.
I can't. I can't absorb
okay.
that. So I have to take a lot of vitamins to compensate because everything's going through my small intestine. The other thing too is that it's something I have to live for the rest of my life. I have to be very careful what I eat. I have to watch my quantity. I have to watch certain foods that I take in because it can make me sick, violently sick sometimes.
Okay.
Especially greasy food.
Right.
Yeah, can't really eat that. I can never eat a Big Mac.
I can. Your Big Mac still though.
I did. I can't eat a Big Mac, but it will take me at least 4 or 5 days, and then after that, I mean, it's a waste.
Little bit.
But I have to be really careful in terms of what I eat at all times, and I have to be mindful of my intake. and stuff like that, because then it can hurt my stomach.
Right.
Basically.
Okay. So it's forcing you to do the things that that we should do.
Correct.
Really.
I mean, at the end of the day, what I do in terms of eating, and I've had people watch me eat or whatever, they're like, really and truly, how you're eating right is actually how we should be eating.
Yeah.
And it's true. And people are amazed in terms of how I eat, because it's a mental game.
Yeah.
Right? Mentally, I have to sit there, and just the other day, I went to a place called Turtle Jack's, and I wanted a hamburger so bad. And I'm looking at the menu, and I'm always the last one to order because I'm very complicated. So I'm looking at the menu, and I'm looking at the waitress is looking at me, and I'm just like, okay, so let's break it down on what I can and cannot have.
Yeah.
And it's a big process, but I have to think like that.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy the food. I want to not feel like people have to worry about me per se, but I need to be careful in terms of what I'm putting in, because the wrong thing could mess
Well, it
me
can
up.
harm you in other ways.
That's right. Exactly.
The weight gain is one thing, but like you said, what you can and cannot absorb.
Right.
The fat, the grease.
That's right.
That's all not good for anybody, but especially not good
That's
for
right.
you.
And sometimes you have to kind of outweigh, like, is it worth it?
Right. Right.
Is it worth eating that?
Right.
Could you find something else? Yes, I can. Right? So it's a mental game every time and not just when I go out, when I'm at home. I have a household where, I have people that eat regular food.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So I have to kind of look at, I want to grab the bag of chips, but I know I shouldn't.
So I'm thinking here about, how sometimes people do not know exactly why you're doing what you're doing, or what you went through in order to get to where you are. And, way too often, and unfortunately with women, we too often look on the outside of people's lives and make judgments.
Absolutely.
And make assumptions.
Yes.
And I want to know from you, did you get any of that from anyone? And if you did, how did it make you feel? Because they see you go from one extreme to the next. People are going to say, "Oh, what'd she do?" Or
that's right.
What happened? And tell people about it.
So, yes, I got a lot of questions and a lot of looks. And when explaining to people what I've done, a lot of people automatically think, "Well, you took the quick way out."
So they're saying through gastric bypass.
That's right. It's just a quick way out. It's a quick fix. You could have just exercised, or you could have did something physical to lose weight. You could have just gone on a diet. And people need to understand that this is definitely not a quick fix. It's something I have to live with for the rest of my life. No matter what the circumstances is, I constantly have to be worried or watching what I do. It's not something that just because I've lost, the 150 pounds, I'm done. The weight can come back. And that's what people don't realize also when they're doing this type of surgery. So when people are asking me questions and wanting to do the surgery, I tell them that you need to really think about what you're doing, because you're going to lose a lot of weight. But you're going to have to maintain it somehow, and it's not just going to be by just eating, because your body's going to get so used to what you're doing that you're going to have to start working now. So you have to exercise.
It's a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle change. And it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. So even if you gain, and what people don't understand also is you can gain back the weight. And with the hospital I was with, I was, I guess I was looked upon as the poster child. And so I would come back and speak to people during the orientation. And I did find that people were coming back a second time and had put back on the weight, wanting to get the surgery again.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm just like, at that point.
So let me just, for my understanding, when I think about how you explain the gastric bypass, making your stomach smaller.
Correct.
How is it that someone can gain so much weight back?
So
if they can only eat so much at a time.
So it's what you're eating.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I told you earlier I couldn't eat a Big Mac.
Mm-hmm.
I can eat a Big Mac, but it's going to take me a while. But if all I'm eating is Big Macs all day long, you're going to gain that weight back.
Yeah, I guess
right?
so. Yeah.
Because you have now a pouch, it's still your stomach.
Yeah.
It still affects your body.
Yeah.
So I could easily go to McDonald's and sip on milkshakes all day long. It's liquid.
Mm-hmm.
But all the calories in it is still going to make me gain weight.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So what they encourage with the gastric bypass is that you're almost changing your mindset that you're eating pure foods.
Mm.
So you're eating clean foods, right? And you're eating it in such a quantity that it's good foods that you're eating, but you can eat enough of it that you're not getting full so quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I understand. So, yeah, definitely a huge lifestyle change. You went from certain habits to now for the rest of your life.
Correct.
You have to keep up with these now
Correct.
better habits, whereby someone who, has X amount of weight to lose, not that they should change their their good habits, but they have less time to lose that weight. They have to maybe not put less effort into it, but they have less time that they need to spend on losing that amount of weight.
Correct.
Yes, they should continue to keep a positive lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, exercise and all that, because that's good for everybody.
Correct.
But you really, there's a small window for you. There's a small window for you whereby if you put in the wrong foods, you can get sick.
Very much so.
Right? So you have to be very careful. So it's definitely not an easy thing.
No, I mean,
it's a big decision.
That's right. So even though it's been 6 years and you think that sometimes I think, oh, my body's used to everything now. And I could just have something and it just sets it off. And my stomach controls everything now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, something as simple as steak. It's been 6 years.
Wow.
And
I love steak.
Right. So the last time I had steak, it was really bad. Easily lose the weight, but the problem is that I will get complacent and go back to my old habits.
Right.
So I wanted something that would just nip it in the bud. There would be something that will constantly be there every single day as a reminder that, Lisa, no, you can't.
Yeah.
So I have tried other ways. I've tried the Jenny Craig. I've tried everything, Bernstein, all of that. And I've lost weight with that. But then you get so comfortable because you're like, oh, I'm skinny. No problem. And so you go back to your old habits. You slowly have those old habits creep back on
Definitely,
you. And
that's
you
what
put
happens.
back the weight.
It's a whole lifestyle change.
So for me, I wanted something that would be a constant reminder that you have to be mindful in terms of what you're eating.
Right.
So gastric bypass, it's very extreme.
Yeah.
It's the most extreme. But for me, I thought that it would be the best thing.
Right.
I want that constant reminder. I want something. It's almost like having a coach in your ear.
Yeah.
Constantly telling you, hey,
yeah,
don't eat this.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, so you knew that you had to do it, for your child.
Right.
Some of the limitations that you had being an overweight woman, tell me more about that, which again made you decide that you definitely have to do this. What were some of the things that you're like, I can't do this anymore?
One of the things, I like to dress. I like my clothes. I have a beautiful closet full of clothes. And as an overweight person, I didn't have any problems finding clothes. But I think what I was getting tired is that I couldn't find anything here. Right? It's very limiting in terms of what is available here. So you have your Penningtons and your Deschanel. That's really all we have. And maybe George in Walmart. Right? So I would be constantly going to the States.
Okay.
Constantly driving over there and buying clothes. And after a while, I got tired of it. Why?
Yeah. So the real problem was the driving and the U.S. dollar exchange, right? That was the problem. You're like, I can't do this anymore.
And after a while, it gets tired.
Yeah.
You get tired and just like, well, why can't I find things that... And when you're in Canada, like, you're so limited in what you have, and it's just like, well, why can't I just walk anywhere and get what I want?
Nothing too fashionable. And
that's right.
Clothing. No,
right? And, at the time, I mean, Pennington's and Additional have really stepped up their game with Ashley Stewart, which I wish she was around when I was buying clothes. But at the time, the fashion sense back 6 years ago wasn't there. Yeah. You're getting sweat. I always say sweaters with little kitty cats and lights and all that stuff. Yeah. What's to wear that?
Christmas time.
Right.
So your clothing was an issue, not finding the right clothing. That was a limitation. What about personally? I want to allude to being overweight and it possibly causing a negative impact on your personal, your intimacy, but it's not always that way for some people. For me, I can tell you right now, I've had 3 children. I got up to 200 pounds with all of them, and I still felt beautiful. I was big and beautiful, and really that's the best way to feel. I was pregnant, so yes, I was gaining weight, but I was doing I was still eating healthy, and I was just eating a lot of it, right? I was made to feel beautiful by my partner. Right. Those who know about High Heel Diaries and the history of why this has come is because I've had breast cancer, and currently I don't have a breast. So I know I've done this a couple times, but I wear a prosthesis. So when I take that out, I'm totally flat here. It's body image you have to be comfortable with, whether you're skinny, whether you're overweight, whether you don't have a limb. So being overweight and having your partner that you guys were comfortable together. And I know you said that your husband was somewhat overweight as well.
He was.
Or your boyfriend or husband. Boyfriend at the time, husband now. How was intimacy with you guys, if you care to share?
To be honest with you, we were very intimate, but you're intimate in such a way where the lights are off, the covers are up, lingerie wasn't a thing. You put something on, but you do, for me, I didn't feel as sexy in it. Yeah. He loved me just the same, but it's for me personally. Right. It was me. Yeah. Right? Certain things that you want to do, you're afraid because you're just oh, my weight. I don't know. But it was me. It was my hang-ups. Right. Not his hang-ups. It was my hang-ups. Right. It was all in my head.
So it's good. You had a healthy relationship.
Very much so.
And that's what's very important is that when, regardless of your weight, a healthy relationship is tantamount to, a future staying together. Of course. In the long run. Right. If you're not comfortable with your inner being, your spirituality, your sexuality, your weight, what have you, then it can cause problems in a relationship. Absolutely. So definitely, it's great that regardless of your size, you were confident, but with those limitations you had, you knew you wanted to change things.
And it boils down to a mind game. Yeah. It's me being hard on myself, not him. He loved me. Regardless, whatever he's, all of this, but at the end of the day, it was me with my hang-ups, and I had to get rid of those hang-ups. And it's hard. It was hard. And especially having a baby, and then you're putting on more weight, and then trying to get that off on top of what you had before. Difficult.
Yeah, for sure. I want to jump back to the surgery. How long did it take for you to get to your ideal weight after having your gastric bypass surgery?
So as soon as the surgery was done, every single month you're losing, everybody's different. For me, I felt like every single month I was just losing lots of weight. And people were just watching me, just going, you look different every month. Right. So to lose the first set of weight, my first 100 pounds, it took a year. And then the last, because I lost a total of 150 pounds. So the 50 pounds
Congratulations.
Was pretty much kind of like me, just kind of exercising a little bit, doing a little work towards it, and losing that 50 pounds. And then I just kind of plateaued. But 150 pounds is about a year and a half. To
that's
all that to
good,
go.
Though. That's great. Yes, you had the help with the gastric bypass, but you still had to work.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize when they're doing this type of surgery, that yes, it's going to help you in terms of getting full and eating a lot less, but you still have to put the work into it in order to either speed it along or just maintain the weight. Yeah.
Tell me, was there anything else that helped you, that guided you in order to get to where you're at right now, to help you be, successful, if you will, with your weight loss? Family, friends, faith, tell me more about what helped to encourage you. Because you can get to a place where you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
You see it's happening, but not happening fast enough.
Right.
That's a lot of problem for most people.
Right. So for me, the driving force, or the what kept me very motivated, is that I had the family members that went through the process. And my best friend, she was 6 months ahead of me. And we encouraged each other. So I had a buddy with me. And then we had another girlfriend who did it, she did about 2 weeks after me.
Oh, great.
And the other support I received was just within the community. So I pretty much involved myself with the community. So I got it on a lot of websites, a lot of Facebook pages and stuff like that. And just talking to people and just hearing their stories and just learning from them in order to incorporate what I'm going to do on my day-to-day to make sure I'm on track or I'm focused. And it's nice to have a group of people that are cheering you on. And so I had all this support to motivate me, and especially just talk to when I'm getting to those places where I'm like, you know what, this is not working. And I'd have somebody just say, no, Lisa, it is. You just need to refocus or find another way. And my family at first didn't really understand what I wanted to do. But once I've talked to them and showed them, my mom was a great support. She was awesome. She would cook meals a little differently, especially West Indian meals. She would put less oil in it. And so all the support just kept me motivated. Yes.
Yeah, motivation, inspiration from others.
Absolutely.
And, that's why I choose to do what I do with High Heel Diaries once again. And I thank you for being so open, is to show women out there that, want an alternative, or are having a problem or can't do it, on their own, and they've tried, that there are alternatives here that I want to go through. Some obesity facts that we already mentioned, that 2.8 million people die each year from being overweight. Globally, 42 million preschool children were overweight. This is in 2015. And these facts are according to the World Health Organization. 57% of the world's population live in a country where most people are overweight, then they are not. That information is just crazy to me. Overweight or obesity is the leading cause of type 2 diabetes. Heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, arthritis, and some cancers. And just for people to know that the minimum amount of exercise can help you. So if you're struggling, don't think, I can't do it. 20 minutes exercise is not going to do anything for me. At least 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercise, physical activity, can reduce the negative effects of being overweight, such as cardiovascular disease, which can lead to a lot of other problems. So, it's some information, some facts that people should take and say, hey, I might want to make a decision. But I also want to put out there that I'm not a medical doctor, Lisa's not a medical doctor. We're not saying that the methods that Lisa chose to lose weight is a method for you. Obviously, you need to talk to your doctor about how you want to go about losing your weight. And it's just the opinion and the experiences of Lisa here. So in closing, Lisa, for a strong woman, and from the first time I met you, and I noticed you're a very, very powerful and strong woman, which again is what helped us to gravitate, I believe. For women out there that's overweight, because it's not a negative issue for all women.
No.
If they're comfortable and they're fine with that, and you were overweight for a while, what would you say to them as far as, if you're fine and happy, then what would you like to say?
I mean, for women out there, if you're overweight, or I don't even like to be honest, to use the word overweight. I mean, if you're comfortable, it boils down what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable in your skin, by all means, do you. But at one point in my life, 6 years ago, I didn't feel comfortable in my skin, and I decided to make a change.
Right.
But when you're ready to make that change, you really have to be ready, not just mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And they all have to come together as one, because for me, this was the biggest decision I've ever made in my life. For me, a lot of my information came from the people that were going through the process, and me having the opportunity to speak to, as well as a lot of groups, and social media by itself helped me a lot. YouTube and Facebook, and just hearing people's stories, that helped me a lot to make my final decision to say, you know what, this is for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the first thing to do, if you're feeling a certain way, I guess how I was feeling, I would have that conversation with my doctor and find out what alternatives are out there.
Yeah, first and foremost, for sure. There's some useful information that I want to share with you as far as information out there, websites, books. Canadian Obesity Network, www.obesitynetwork.ca. You get lots of information on there. A book I came across online by Dr. Jason Fung. It's called The Obesity Code, Unlocking the Secrets of Weight Loss. Have you heard of that book?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Yes.
Support group, Obesity Help is called.
I'm a member of that.
Yes.
Yes, it's a wonderful website.
Good. www.obesityhelp.com. And then for kids, there is a network from Sick Kids Hospital. It's called STOMP, STOMP, Sick Kids Team Obesity Management Program. So www.sickkids.ca/STOMP. So if you need some information, or if you're thinking, about doing something, or just for support, please check out some of those websites. So Lisa, I want to thank you so much for being here. I wish we had more time. We could talk forever. I don't want people to lose interest. You know how YouTube goes.
Right, exactly.
But thank you for your information, and I wish you luck in your continued journey. We're forever evolving. We're forever learning.
Yes,
never too old to learn. Never too old to change habits.
Absolutely.
So I thank you again for being here and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video. Please, if you like it, share it, like it, subscribe to it, share it. You know how to do the whole social media thing. Also on my other social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can go on there and see what else I'm doing with High Heel Diaries. There's a lot going on. If you would have a look at my website, www.highheeldiaries.com. And please don't forget, my heel is HEAL for healing. Okay? highheeldiaries.com. Have a boo and see what else is going on with High Heel Diaries, okay? So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again really soon.